What would you do if a zombie virus outbreak occurred 7 days later and you were the only one who knew? Prior to the virus outbreak, you spent all of your savings on supplies and drove your parents from the countryside. The entire family stayed in the house with supplies for the first night, but a knock on the door in the middle of the night woke you up. Outside the door, which you had thickened to 5 meters, there were already cameras. You noticed an attractive young woman standing outside through the surveillance. Despite the oddity, you opened the door and asked her what she wanted prior to the zombie virus outbreak. You didn't dare to let her in, afraid she'd see the supplies you'd stocked up on, because the most dangerous thing was people. When she got close, you realized she was a failed movie star. She expressed an interest in purchasing your home. You thought it was strange, so you demanded a high price of $2 million to force her to give up. Surprisingly, she paid the money right away. You were perplexed, but you didn't want to refuse the money that had been delivered to your door. Anyway, the zombie virus would erupt in 7 days and she'd be toast. You received an unexpected $2 million, which inspired you. After all, the world order was about to collapse in 7 days, so you rallied your parents to borrow from every loan company. All of your credit cards were maxed out. Money was borrowed from relatives and friends who wouldn't need it anyway. This gave you an additional $1.2 million, bringing your total to $5 million. The pantry was already stocked with staples like flour, instant noodles, and meat. The extra cash was just enough to purchase weapons. You would not have died of starvation at home if you had a handy weapon in your hands in your previous life. Short-handled weapons were abandoned because they could infect you if you were accidentally captured by zombies. As a backup, 200 fire axes were purchased, 200 electric shocks were purchased and charged, 200 custom compound crossbows were purchased, each with a range of 400 meters. For trucks of crossbow arrows were stopped and stored on the roof. 102-meter-long steel pipes with one sharpened end were purchased. Anti-wolf spray in the amount of 100 boxes was purchased. These self-defense weapons will set you back $800,000. But you didn't feel bad because these weapons could have armed a small town in your previous life. Your father also mysteriously requested $500,000, claiming to have channels to obtain some tough stuff. You two exchanged a knowing nod. There are only 6 days until a zombie outbreak. The food issue was resolved. Time is of the essence, so get to work on establishing the safe house's ecosystem. The most important issue is power. Generators alone will not suffice, so you commission the fabrication of a full solar panel to be installed on the roof. The workers are intrigued as to why you want such a large solar panel, and you joke that it is to save money. They feel helpless because the solar panel costs $300,000. Because the medical system completely collapsed following the zombie outbreak, you should stock up on medicine. Your mother, a retired nurse, chooses them herself: cold medicine, pain relievers, antibiotics, and so on. Antibiotics, in particular, which can be exchanged for a life in the zombie-infested world. You buy as much as you possibly can. When you empty out the entire city's pharmacy, you almost draw the attention of the cops. Your retired principal father recommends installing a water filtration and circulation system to collect rainwater for daily use. Because it rains frequently in your city, you don't have to worry about water with the water circulation system. Vegetables will also expire, so you go to the farm and purchase 100 kilograms of different vegetable seeds. You intend to spread soil on the roof and plant seeds. The rooftop is large enough, and the ecosystem is built layer by layer. The freezer is at the bottom, followed by the fish pond, steel pipes, water circulation system, and vegetable garden. You can just add something on top whenever you need it. Less than a week after the zombie outbreak, the tap water was contaminated by corpses. The sewers were also clogged as a result of poor management. You had to think about the issue of flushing the toilet. A construction company was hired to build a toilet extension that extended outside the house. After using the toilet, the excrement would fall directly from the sky, eliminating the need to flush. It also helped to conserve water resources. You spent a lot of money on the 5th day before the zombie outbreak to buy an off-road vehicle with a displacement of 3.0 T and park it in a hidden pile of grass outside the community. It was for fleeing. The trunk contained barrels of gasoline rather than anything else. Gasoline was worth 100 times the weight of gold in your previous life. You also bought 20 boxes of salt and 100 boxes of tissues on your way home. When you returned home, you discovered that your father had locked the fire escape door and that all floors above the 20th had been locked to prevent zombies from ascending the stairs. Your parents also purchased a large number of books, which you thought were unnecessary, but these books should be useful for throwing zombies from the building. All computers, iPads, and cell phones were fully charged. A large amount of music and movies had been downloaded ahead of time. Your mother also purchased a treadmill, claiming that even at the end of the world, you must exercise. Surprisingly, you saw the washed-up celebrity who knocked on your door in the middle of the night, urging people to stockpile supplies. In TikTok, it felt strange because you hadn't heard of her since the zombie outbreak in your previous life. She had to have died at an early stages. The 4th-to-last day had arrived. News of mysterious injuries began to circulate, just as it had in the previous life. You also rushedly stocked the 2nd floor of your house with supplies and planned to hire someone to demolish the stairs and replace them with a fire escape ladder because zombies can't climb poles. When you returned home with the engineering team, however, you were met with an unexpected sight that almost made you mad.